um, variable costing versus absorption costing. Okay, so variable costs, in the name itself, you only include the variable production costs. Take note, production costs. And then in absorption costing, variable costs and fixed costs included. So here it is in the problem: 315,000 for variable cost and fixed production costs for 157,500. Under the variable costing method, we only include 315,000, and in the absorption costing, we include both. So that is why if we add this, we have a total of 472,500. So that's the total production cost under each method. Take note, 315,000 versus 472,500. And we merely divide that by the units produced. Okay, the units produced for the year, because that's what the problem says, and we get 4.5 and 6.5 respectively. Okay, so 4.5 for variable costing, absorption costing 6.75. So now that we have that, we multiply that with the remaining inventory, because the question is finished goods or the remaining inventory. So we merely cost that, provide cost for it by multiplying that with the unit cost. 4.5 times 10,000 is 45,000, and 6.75 is times 10,000 is 67,500. That's why the answer is A, number 1, and C for number 2. So we go now to the income. So again, income starts with sales, right? So given 700,000, and the cost of sales is computed like this. It says the problem says 60,000 are being sold. We already computed for the unit cost, so we merely multiply that. 4.5 times 60,000, 270,000, the cost of sales. So 700,000 minus cost of sales, 270,000. The gross margin is 430,000 for under the variable costing. Now take note, in the problem we have two operating expenses, 49,000, 70,000. But under the variable costing, it says that it must also include the fixed production costs, which is 157,500 under operations instead of the production. Okay, as we take note, it is missing in here under the absorption cost because it's already absorbed in the products. Okay, so the total of this in the variable cost is 276,500, so we get 153,500 after deducting this amount, 276,500 from 430,000 gross margin. Now we go, so the answer is B. So now the answer 405,000, 295,000 rather, because again we simply multiplied 6.75 to 60,000, we get 405,000, okay, as cost of sales, and we deduct that from the sales, so 295,000 gross margin. This time, as you can see, the fixed production cost is again absent here because it's already absorbed right here. So the operating expenses is merely a total of 119,000. So we deduct that, we get 176,000. So the answer is letter C. So take note, the difference is just the fixed cost. So we go to number 2. So number 2, it's just another simple method, right? Because the problem stated a given a variable cost of 8. Okay, a variable production cost per unit, which is 8. So anyway, let me continue. So 8 is the answer. Okay, this is a gimme question A. And then we merely divide 48,000 fixed overhead by 12,000 in order to get the fixed cost per unit, and add that to 8 so we can get 12 as the cost per unit under the absorption costing method. So the answer is C. So very easy. And then the sales is another no-brainer. 10,000 is being sold under the problem. We multiply that by the selling price per unit, so we get 240,000 is the sales. Cost of goods sold, same process. We multiply the units sold. Excuse me for that. Sorry. 10,000 times 8, so we got 80,000. We get 80,000 rather, and 120,000 under the absorption cost. Okay. As you can see, that's the unit cost. And the gross margin is 160,000 for variable costs and 120,000 for the absorption costing. Okay, so we deducted cost of goods sold, of course, very basic. We deduct that from the sales, 120,000. We deduct that. Okay, so the answer is 120 to 160. So again, the fixed production cost is the given. As you can see here, it's a period cost now, and it's to be deducted immediately. Okay, and like in absorption costing, where only 10,000 is being applied because the others are still part of the finished goods. Okay, so it's already here. Rather here. So 10,000 times 12, 120,000. In other words, a cost of around 24,000 still in the inventory. So as you can see, the difference. Okay, the operating expenses is the same. It says here the selling administrative variable cost is 2 pesos per unit. So that's a variable but non-production. So we multiply that with 10,000 being sold. In other words, those that have not been sold, we didn't incur any expenses yet. Okay, very common sense. So we just multiplied 10,000 to the products, which is 10,000 that's being sold, which is 2 pesos per unit. So we get 20. And then we have the fixed cost, 36,000. So 56,000 for absorption costing, and 104,000 for variable costing because of this 48,000. So total of 104,000 under variable costing, 160,000 minus 104,000, 56,000 is the net income, and 64,000 under absorption costing. So the answer is C, 56,000, and 8,000 more, which is the answer is B.